Welcome to BYG Law University, where we don't just study the law, we weaponize it. We're going to break this case down. This is Frech versus Piontkowski, 2010. And here are the facts. Some real ones. Frech and her people bought a property right next to this man-made reservoir that was owned by Piontkowski. And this was in Connecticut. Now, what did they do? They fished on it, they swam on it, they used all of this water in the reservoir like it was theirs. And they kept doing it for many years. And the Merzanos were their neighbors, and they did the exact same thing. But then the Merzanos, they sold the property to some new owners called the Andersons. So the Andersons bought that property, and they kept the same savage energy. More boating, more swimming. They acted like they owned the place. Now, the owners, Piontkowski and his crew, what did he do to stop it? Nothing that mattered. All he did was post no trespassing signs. That's it. No trespassing signs all around the property. But he never actually stepped in legally. He never brought the smoke. And eventually, Frech and the Andersons wanted to lock the property in. So they went to the court and said, we want a prescriptive easement. Now, because you're very smart and intelligent, you're probably wondering, Mr. Big, what the hell is a prescriptive easement? And I'm going to tell you exactly what a prescriptive easement is. It's the legal right to, in this case, to use the reservoir. So they went to the trial court, and the trial court said, yes, you got it. Prescriptive easement granted. But Piontkowski, because he's a big fat sore loser, he didn't want to just sit down and take this big L. He went to the big leagues. He went to the Connecticut Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court had to deal with a specific question. And I'm going to break this down so it's easy to understand. Can an abutting landowner like Frech and the Andersons get a prescriptive easement? Again, a legal right to use the land for recreational purposes of a non-navigable artificial body of water. Now, in plain English, that just means, can you legally earn the right to swim in someone else's man-made lake just by using it long enough without their permission? And here's what you need to remember. This is what the rule of law is. The weapon that you need to remember to get a prescriptive easement, your use of someone else's land has to be open. I'll write that down for you guys, for those of you smart taking notes. Open. You need to be visible. You need to be continuous. Uninterrupted. And in this case, it was for at least 15 years. So the minimum was 15 years in this case. And under a claim of right, which is another word that you need to be remembering in case you're taking notes. A claim of right, one of the main words in this case. Under the claim of right, that means you're using it like you have a right to use it. You're not hiding it. You're not asking for permission. That's exactly what the Frech were doing. They weren't asking for Piontkowski's permission. That's the combination. And that's going to be your legal cheat code. Now, what did the Supreme Court say? The court said, hell yes. Again, they agreed. Frech and the Andersons met all the criteria. They used the water publicly, visibly, repeatedly. People on the outside, again, that's you right there, would look and think that artificial body of water definitely belongs to the Frech. It must belong to the Andersons. The Frech and the Andersons, they weren't being sneaky about it. They didn't even ask. They just acted like they were the owners. And what did Piontkowski do? Unfortunately, Piontkowski, this is him right here, he just watched. He didn't do anything. He just sat back and watched. And the law punishes that weakness. Even though it was an artificial body of water, even though it was non-navigable, the court said the prescriptive easement is granted. They granted it. Ownership isn't always about deeds. It's about use. It's about guts. It's about knowing the rules and using them like a savage. This is BYG Law University, where we teach you how to turn time and use boldness into legal fucking power. Subscribe, join the movement, and remember, you don't need to own the land to control it. You just need to move like a legal gangster.